Digging urchins. Along the western seashores of North America dwell the purple sea urchin, Strongylocentrus purpuratus. So here I have to decide the correct verb form, and I'm using the singular sea urchin, right? So I have to say dwells, not 12. So B is the right answer. Are and have are also plural, so they are also incorrect. This small spiny animal can live for up to 70 years inside of rock cavities or pits that grant protection from predators and strong waves. Okay, rock cavities. Now we have a comma after rock cavities, right? So why would I use that comma? Because I'm trying to indicate that this cavity is a pit, right? So it's a definition for cavity. So I should have another comma here because my main sentence is that this small spiny animal can live for up to 70 years inside of rock cavities that grant protection from predators. And this or pits is just a definition for cavities. So should come between a pair of commas, right? Can't use any other punctuation because that would disturb this first comma. For over a century, scientists have debated whether S. purpuratus finds and occupies existing pits or whether it actively excavates its own. The latter hypothesis is supported by the work of biologist Michael P. Russell of Villanova University, who has recently provided the first evidence that the urchin itself breaks down these hard rock surfaces and that this process, known as bioerosion, has broader ramifications. He has recently provided the first evidence, right? So in recent times, I don't have to say that when I have a precise way of saying it with recently. Provided and offered is redundant because they mean the same thing. And only just recently is too many words, right? Because I can say the same thing with just recently provided. Though many animals regularly contribute to bioerosion, Russell and his team brought individual purple urchins from their natural environment into the laboratory and placed each in an enclosure atop one of three rock types: granite, mudstone, or sandstone, fine and medium grain. Now I have to introduce the paragraph, and I'm talking about this research that Russell conducted. So the fact that many animals contribute is not a good introduction. To investigate the urchin's ability to erode rock, right? That's exactly what his team is doing. So I like B. After obtaining a permit from the California Department of Fish and Wildlife, not relevant. In a study later published, also not relevant. Okay, now here I'm saying that his team brought individual purple urchins from their environment to the lab and placed each in an enclosure atop one of three rock types. And then I'm explaining what those rock types are. So a colon would make sense because a colon is used to explain what has gone before. And also the part before the colon is a complete sentence. So that would make sense. A comma or a semicolon don't serve that purpose. The mass of each rock was measured before urchin introduction and then again a year later. In the end, each rock type showed an average loss of mass that was notably larger than each of its control group. An average loss of mass that was notably larger than that of. Then average loss of mass of, right? So instead of saying this again, we are simply replacing it with that of. We can't say those because that's plural, and we have to say something because we need to compare the loss of mass of the experimental group with that of the control group. So it's C, which had no urchins. The researchers then used their findings to calculate the average annual rate of bioerosion caused by an individual urchin. These data, when compared with size measurements of urchin pits in nature, allowed Russell to make estimates about urchins. He could estimate both the time required for an urchin to form an average sized pit in each rock type and the total amount of bioerosion that urchin populations could cause. Now we have to combine these sentences. So these data allowed Russell to make estimates about, right? Make estimates about both the time required for an urchin to form this and this. So he's making estimates about something. So that preposition is needed. And this is repeating estimates, so it's not good. This is not conveying the correct meaning, because if I'm saying to make estimates, but this including doesn't capture the idea that estimates were made about this, right? Oh, actually, we could say just D, right? I could say allowed Russell to estimate both the, yeah. So I actually have D, which is even more precise than C. So does that make sense? These data allowed Russell to estimate both the time required. Yeah, so that makes sense. With granite, which was reduced by only 0.88 gram per urchin per year, it would take an urchin almost 150 years to form an average sized pit. In contrast, bioerosion of medium grain sandstone occurred at a more rapid pace of 32.4 grams per urchin per year. Okay. Sandstone medium grain, 32.4 grams per urchin per year. Yeah. So this is the right figure. So no change. Which would allow an urchin to create a pit in just 4.5 years. Although higher densities of sea urchins live on sandstone-rich rocky shores than live on granite, these urchins' combined excavations could quickly erode large volumes of sandstone into sediment, producing, by Russell's estimate, this many tons of sediment per hectare each year. Okay, so here I'm saying that granite is not very helpful, sandstone is. Okay, and with sandstone, it takes 4.5 years for one urchin. And because higher densities live on sandstone-rich rocky shores, these urchins' combined excavations could quickly erode large volumes of sandstone. So this is a reason. It's not a contrasting statement. So although and even if don't make sense. And I have to have a conjunction here because I'm providing a cause effect. Producing by Russell's estimate. Okay, so now I'm talking about sandstone, right, into sediment, producing 199.1 tons of medium grain sandstone, right? That's the erosion we are talking about, not granite. Russell's research presents a convincing argument that purple sea urchins are responsible for substantial bioerosion. The high amounts of sediment produced by this bioerosion can adversely affect aquatic life. For example, excess sediment can become suspended in water and smother fish eggs, lowering hatch rates. Such sediment can also block light from penetrating the water, which changes the depth at which aquatic plants can live, detrimentally affecting the entire ecosystem. Additional research is required to better understand the long-term effects of this urchin behavior. Okay, so we have to now transition from the previous paragraph. So Russell's research presents a convincing argument. Granite is more resistant to bioerosion. This is not relevant. Any individual urchin not relevant? No. So I think A is a good answer because I'm talking about the effects of substantial bioerosion, right? When these sea urchins work together, they can lead to substantial bioerosion, and that can have adverse effects, which are talked about here. Okay, so let's grade this. Yeah, so this is 23, BDABD, BDABD, and 28, CDABDA. CDABDA.